Cyber threats are evolving at breakneck speed, and this week's updates are nothing short of chilling. This week, we've uncovered secrets that powerful entities would prefer to stay hidden. Your data, your privacy, and even your identity are at stake. If you think you're safe, think again. This week's cybersecurity revelations will make you question everything you thought you knew about online safety. In this video, we will explore the latest threats, breaches, and innovations shaping the digital landscape. Let's start with the latest news on cloud computing. Researchers from Aqua have uncovered a series of critical vulnerabilities in 6 Amazon Web Services products: CloudFormation, Glue, EMR, SageMaker, Service Catalog, and CodeStar. These flaws could potentially allow hackers to execute remote code, take over user accounts, manipulate AI modules, expose sensitive data, and even launch denial-of-service attacks. The researchers have introduced 2 groundbreaking attack vectors: the shadow resource and bucket monopoly techniques. Let's break down one of these vulnerabilities to show you just how serious this is. Take CloudFormation, for instance. This service is designed to help you model and set up your AWS resources. Sounds helpful, right? Well, it turns out that an attacker could potentially execute code, manipulate or steal your data, and gain full control over your account by simply claiming a predictable S3 bucket name. Now, you might be thinking, surely AWS caught this quickly and fixed it, right? Well, yes and no. The timeline of discovery and mitigation stretched from February to August 2024. That's 6 months during which these vulnerabilities were potentially exploitable. AWS did respond promptly when notified, implementing fixes to prevent attackers from exploiting these vectors. For instance, they now add random sequences to bucket names if a bucket already exists, or prompts users to choose a new name. Moving on to our next story. We shift our focus from the cloud to the depth of the operating system itself. The notorious North Korean hacker group Lazarus has been caught exploiting a previously unknown zero-day vulnerability in the Windows AFD.sys driver. This flaw grants kernel-level access to targeted systems. For those of you who might not be familiar with kernel-level access, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine your computer as a fortified castle. The kernel is the innermost chamber, the heart of the castle, where all the most important decisions are made. By gaining access to this level, the Lazarus group essentially obtained the master key to the entire kingdom. This vulnerability, tracked as CVE 2024-38193, was so severe that Microsoft rushed to patch it as part of their June 2024 Patch Tuesday updates. But here's the scary part. This flaw was actively exploited in the wild before it was patched. That means real systems were compromised, real data was at risk, and real damage was done. But what makes this particular exploit so chilling is its stealthy nature. The group employed a malware known as FUD module, which effectively evaded detection by security software. Most recently, up to 5 million installations of the Lightspeed Cache WordPress plugin were vulnerable to an exploit that allows hackers to gain administrator rights and upload malicious files and plugins. The vulnerability was first reported to PatchStack, a WordPress security company, which notified the plugin developer and waited until the vulnerability was patched before making a public announcement. PatchStack founder Oliver Sild explained that the vulnerability was discovered through the PatchStack WordPress Bug Bounty program, which awarded the researcher a $14,400 bounty. Sild emphasized the critical nature of the vulnerability due to the plugin's large install base, warning that exploitation is likely imminent. Moving on to another concerning development. We need to talk about Iranian state-sponsored threat actors. They have been busy, folks. These cyber operatives have been orchestrating spear phishing campaigns targeting prominent Jewish figures. Their weapon of choice is a new intelligence gathering tool called Anvil Echo. This is a highly targeted, persistent, and persuasive social engineering effort. The attackers masquerade as legitimate entities and journalists, building rapport with their targets over time. It's a long con, designed to lull victims into a full sense of security before springing the trap. The group behind these attacks, known as TA453 or APT42, is believed to be affiliated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Their targeting is strategic and politically motivated, with the US and Israel accounting for roughly 60% of their known geographic focus. Now, let's talk about a vulnerability that could be affecting millions of e-commerce sites. Researchers have discovered a potential issue in Oracle NetSuite's Suite Commerce platform that could allow attackers to access sensitive data due to misconfigured access controls. The vulnerability exploits custom record types that use table-level access controls with a no permission required access type. In simpler terms, it's like leaving the door to your customer database wide open, allowing anyone to walk in and browse at their leisure. To exploit this vulnerability, an attacker would need to know the names of the CRTs in use. However, once they have that information, they could potentially access a treasure trove of sensitive customer data. Next up is a critical remote code execution vulnerability in Microsoft Edge has been discovered, potentially allowing attackers to take control of affected systems by executing arbitrary code remotely. Microsoft has assigned the flaw, CVE 2024-38210, an important severity rating, affecting Microsoft Edge stable versions before 128.0.2739.42. To mitigate the risk, users are strongly advised to update to the latest version. In another news, it was shown that oil drilling and fracking giant Halliburton has shut down some of its internal systems following a cyber attack earlier this week. The company stated it is working to identify any effects of the incident, but has not disclosed the nature of the security breach. The US Department of Energy confirmed that there are no indications of impact on energy services at this time. Halliburton is closely associated with the Deepwater Horizon oil spill and remains one of the world's largest energy companies. Now, let's turn our attention to a surge in malware infections that's been making waves in the cybersecurity community. We're seeing a rise in malvertising campaigns distributing a loader called FakeBat. It's a malware-as-a-service operation linked to a threat actor known as Eugene Fest. FakeBat, also known as Eugene Loader or PayKLoader, is being tracked by Google's Mandiant team under the name Namozilla. What makes this loader particularly insidious is its distribution method. The attackers use drive-by download techniques, pushing users searching for popular software towards fake load-like sites. These sites host booby-trapped MSI installers that look legitimate, but are actually laden with malware. Shifting gears, let's discuss a breach that might directly affect some of our viewers. The Oregon Zoo has disclosed that visitors who purchased tickets online between December 2023 and June 2024 had their payment card information compromised. You might be among them. We're talking about one of the most popular tourist attractions in Oregon, with over 1.7 million visitors annually. The zoo discovered on June 26 that its online ticketing service had been compromised. The investigation revealed that since December 2023, customer transactions had been redirected to a phishing page. That's 6 months during which unsuspecting visitors were handing their payment details directly to cybercriminals. The exposed information includes full names, payment card numbers, CVV codes, and expiration dates. Next is a breach that showcases the importance of robust access controls. Unicoin, a cryptocurrency project, found itself in a precarious situation when a hacker compromised its Google Workspace account. The attacker didn't just gain access, they changed the passwords for all company employees, effectively locking them out of their corporate accounts for days. Imagine the chaos this caused. Employees unable to access their emails, documents, or any of the tools they need for their daily operations. It took Unicoin 4 days to restore access, during which time the attacker had free rein over confidential information in internal communications. Moving on to another major player in the tech world, Toyota recently confirmed a network breach after a threat actor leaked an archive of 240 gigabytes of stolen data on a hacking forum. The leak allegedly contains information on Toyota employees and customers, as well as contracts and financial information. While Toyota has stated that the issue is limited in scope, the potential implications are significant. The threat actor claims to have collected network infrastructure information, including credentials, using open source tools. This could potentially open the door for further attacks or data exploitation. In a bizarre twist that sounds like something out of a crime novel, Italian police arrested suspected hackers behind a $14 million cryptocurrency heist from blockchain tech from Holograph. These cyber criminals weren't exactly laying low. They were living a lavish lifestyle in a luxury villa in Salerno, Italy. But here's where it gets really interesting. One of the suspects, a 39-year-old man from Kentucky, didn't just stop stealing cryptocurrency. He used stolen credentials to access the Hawaii death registry system and register himself as deceased. His motive? To avoid paying child support obligations. And finally, a sophisticated China-linked cyber espionage group known as Velvet Ant has been discovered exploiting a zero-day vulnerability in Cisco NX-OS software to deploy custom malware on network switches. Tracked as CVE 2024-20399, this flaw allows authenticated local attackers with administrator privileges to execute arbitrary commands as root on affected devices. Cisco has released software updates to address the issue and strongly recommends customers applying these patches promptly. The Velvet Shell malware, used by Velvet Ant, combines elements of two open-source tools and provides various capabilities, including executing arbitrary commands and creating tunnels to proxy network traffic. After learning about all these flaws, how secure do you really think your online accounts are? And how can we reduce the risk of being attacked by these actors? Share your thoughts in the comments below.